Valentine's special. The love letter that changed history. Let me tell you something. If you think Valentine is just about chocolates, roses, and baby I love you, my brother, my sister, you are about to hear a story that will shock you. Because this Valentine gist is not the one you hear every year. This one is deep. This one is painful. This one is sweet. And the ending? The ending will make you look at love differently. Now listen carefully. This story happened long ago, but it feels like something that can happen in Lagos today. A story of love, power, jealousy, betrayal, and one letter, just one letter, that changed everything. Many people celebrate Valentine's Day every year, but very few people ask, who is Valentine? Was he even real? Why is the day named after him? Because the truth is, Valentine was not a lover boy. Valentine was not selling flowers. Valentine was not posting "my baby is my world" on Facebook. Valentine was a man of courage, a man who risked his life because of love, but not the kind of love you think. And this is where the story begins. At that time, Rome was like the biggest corporation in the world. The Roman Empire was not a joke. Imagine a government so powerful that once they make a law, nobody argues, nobody protests, nobody forms online activist group. You either obey or you die. So Rome was like a giant company, and the CEO, the emperor, his words are final. Now there was one emperor at the time called Claudius II, and this man was obsessed with war. He wanted soldiers, he wanted men to fight, he wanted expansion, he wanted victory. He didn't care about feelings, he didn't care about love, he didn't care about marriage. To him, marriage was distraction, love was weakness, romance was useless. So he made a shocking rule, a rule that changed everything. One day, Emperor Claudius announced something. He said, no young man in Rome should marry. Yes, he banned marriage. Imagine that kind of madness. He believed that if young men got married, they will not want to go to war. They will fear dying. They will miss their wives. They will think of children. So he wanted them single, heartless, and ready to fight. In short, he wanted them emotionally dead. And many people suffered. Couples that were ready to marry suddenly couldn't. Men that loved women were forced to choose between love and loyalty to the empire. Women were crying, families were angry, and nobody could talk. Because in Rome, you don't argue with the emperor. But then, one man stood up, a man called Valentine. Valentine was a priest, a spiritual leader, and he believed something strongly. He believed that love is sacred. He believed marriage is holy. He believed the government has no right to control people's hearts. So Valentine did something dangerous. He started marrying couples secretly. Yes, secret weddings, hidden weddings, quiet weddings. No public announcement, no celebration, just vows, just love, just commitment. And couples were happy. They finally had hope. But you know human beings, once something sweet is happening, jealousy must enter. And once jealousy enters, trouble is close. Now listen, in every organization there are spies, even in churches, even in companies, even in friendships. There is always somebody watching you, somebody smiling with you, or reporting you behind your back. So one day someone found out what Valentine was doing, and they reported him to the authorities. Some say it was a soldier, some say it was a jealous priest, some say it was someone who wanted promotion, but whoever it was, the person sold Valentine, and that was the beginning of his downfall. Because the emperor heard the news and Claudius was furious. He said, so this small priest thinks he can disobey my law? And immediately Valentine was arrested. Now imagine, Valentine being dragged into prison. No lawyer, no court, no fair hearing, nothing. Because Rome was not democracy. Rome was pure power. And the prison he entered was not small. It was a dark place, a place of fear, a place where people lose hope. But Valentine did not break. He did not beg. He did not deny. He stood firm. And that was when something unexpected happened. Something that made this story turn into a real Valentine story. The prison guard had a daughter, and this girl was different. The guard's daughter was intelligent, curious, and lonely. Some stories even say she was blind, because one thing was sure, she was tired of the cold world she lived in. Now imagine your father works in a prison. You grew up around punishment and cruelty. You see people dying. You hear screams. You hear chains. That kind of environment can make you lose your humanity. But this girl still had heart. So when Valentine came into the prison, she noticed something. This man was not like the others. He was calm. He was kind. He was not bitter. He was not angry. And she started visiting him. At first it was just small talk. Why are you here? What did you do? And Valentine explained. He said, I married people. I helped people find love. And the girl was shocked. She said, "You risk your life because of love?" Valentine smiled. He said, "Yes, because love is worth it." And slowly, something started growing. Something dangerous, something sweet, something powerful. Romance. Now listen to this part carefully, because this is the part that makes you emotional. While Valentine was in prison, this girl and Valentine started becoming close. She would bring him food, she would bring him paper, she would bring him books. They would talk for hours about life, about pain, about dreams, about love. And Valentine became like her safe space, her peace, her secret happiness. In a prison filled with suffering, two hearts started connecting, and the girl began to feel something she had never felt before. She started falling in love, but Valentine knew the truth. He knew something she didn't know. He knew he was not going to survive, because Rome did not forgive disobedience. So Valentine continued talking to her, not because he wanted to use her, but because he wanted her to experience something rare. A love that is pure, a love that don't ask for money, a love that don't demand body, a love that don't manipulate. Just love. But the empire had already decided Valentine must die. Now Emperor Claudius called Valentine. He wanted to see him, because Claudius was hearing reports that Valentine was influential. Some say the emperor even respected him. So Claudius asked him, "Why are you doing this?" Valentine replied, "Because love is not a crime." And Claudius said, "If you stop this nonsense and serve Rome, I will spare your life." But Valentine refused. He said, "I cannot betray what I believe." That was it. That was the final nail. Claudius ordered his execution, and the date was fixed. Valentine was going to be killed. Just like that. Now imagine the prison girl hearing the news. The man she had grown to love was about to die. This is where the story becomes legendary. Because Valentine was executed, he wrote a letter to the prison guard's daughter, a final message. And this letter was not a normal letter. It was a goodbye, a thank you, a confession, a love note. Valentine wrote, "You gave me light in darkness. You gave me hope in chains. It reminded me why love is worth fighting for." Then, at the end of the letter, he signed it with words that shook history, words that became a global tradition. He signed, "From your Valentine." Yes, that was the first time those words were used like that, "From your Valentine." And that was the last message he sent before he passed on. Now imagine the girl reading it, crying, holding the paper like it was gold, because that was the last piece of him she would ever have. Valentine was executed, killed because he chose love over power, because he chose people over government, because he refused to let the world become cold. And here's the twist, love did not die with him. His story spread. People started talking about him. People started honoring him. People started remembering that man who defied an emperor, just so couples could be together. And years later, his death became a symbol of love, a symbol of sacrifice, a symbol that love is not always sweet. Sometimes love is war. Sometimes love is pain. Sometimes love is choosing somebody even when the world says no. That is why Valentine's Day exists. Not because of flowers, not because of cake, not because of restaurant dates, but because one man decided that love is worth dying for. Now tell me, does that sound like a Valentine we celebrate today? Now here is the painful truth. Today many people celebrate Valentine like it's a competition. Some people will borrow money to buy flowers. Some girls will shout, "If he doesn't buy iPhone 17, he doesn't love me." Some guys will rent car to impress. Some people will post fake love online, then beat themselves behind closed doors. Some relationships are built on pressure, not on love. Some people are together because of money, not because of commitment. But Valentine risked his life. He did not ask for intimacy. He did not ask for flexing. He did not ask for social media validation. He simply believed in love. And that is why his story is still alive today. Now let me ask you a question. If you were in Valentine's position, would you risk your life for love? If your government said no marriage, would you disobey? If you knew you would die, would you still stand for what you believe? And the biggest question, is love still real today? Or is love now just transaction? Because the kind of love Valentine showed is rare, very rare. If you learn something from this story, don't just scroll. Share this video because many people are celebrating Valentine without knowing the real origin. And if you believe love should still mean sacrifice, loyalty and commitment, drop a comment. Let's hear your thoughts. Do you think love like this still exists in Nigeria today? Or is it only in history? And if you want more hidden stories like this, follow this page because the next story will shock you again. Now talk to me in the comments. Would you die for love?